Alright, whether you love it or hate it, Fortnite is a success and isn't going away anytime soon. It capitalized on a trend that single-handedly overtook its competitor doing the same thing and scored an overwhelming audience, earned company deals, and made millions off of its early access model of marketing. But how did it all start, really? I'm not trying to say how it all started with Fortnite, I mean the entire Battle Royale origin in the first place. To do this, we need to go back to the past, and find out where it all started. Now, back in the day, free-to-play games wasn't something that was praised upon by the masses. It was usually seen as a cash grab that mobile games used to excuse a minimum effort game. You know, made by college students trying to pay for their tuition and stuff like that. That was the main theme of it all. But something strangely exploded that made AAA companies shift their perspective ever so slightly, but enough to make a modest impression. That something was Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2, along with other free-to-play games at the time, not only brought in a large player base, but played around with the idea that free-to-play wasn't just something that meant laziness and a cash cow. It actually brought in a dedicated audience that played constantly and was supported with consistent updates and DLC. This was an interesting epidemic at the time and changed the mass idea about free-to-play. But it didn't go too far until Valve made a daring move to support indie developers later along the line. That, my people, was early access. Early access was a service made available by Valve to promote and greenlight ideas made by indie developers in an effort to make their ideas gain traction as they evolved. It was a brilliant idea, which had its ups and downs, obviously, but overall, it was a service that brought some of the most innovative and entertaining games into the market which would have never been noticed had it not been for Valve. During its time in the market, early access will see something that would take the market by storm. Open world survival games. Survival games like DayZ, Rust, and H1Z1 was something played around with a couple times like Minecraft Hunger Games, for example, but was never taken to a new light like these games. When they were released, they weren't really noticed at first, but when a few people got addicted to it, told their friends about it, and shared on social media, man, forget about all that. Everybody wanted to get in on the action of those games at that point. People played it on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook even. You see it everywhere. And when that trend blew up, what did the masses do? What do you think? They followed the trend and made their own survival games to please the community. This may seem like a cheap cop-out by the developers and producers, but let's be honest with ourselves. As consumers ourselves, this is a personal opinion, we do not know what the fuck we want. It takes developers years, decades even, to find a niche that sticks and has a sizable audience that cares enough about it to keep food on the table. I'm not saying that we should suck up and accept it all, but for people who do nothing but harass and threaten the developers for sticking to a trend and trying to make a game worth playing out of it, offering no constructive criticism at all, I say, fuck you, you are a piece of shit. Now back to history. Survival games were the bread and butter of video games for years when early access supported them. But as the trend started to grow, people grew less interested in just survival games. Fans of that genre wanted to do more and be constantly challenged to prove themselves. This epidemic was supported by H1Z1. But it didn't really blow up until a competitor that you all know and possibly love entered the market and stole the competition. What I'm talking about is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. PUBG started as an experimental survival game meant to rival games such as H1Z1, but gained traction quicker due to it being a new early access game and its mechanics being different and heavily focused on the competitive side of the genre. This game was similar to a volcano erupting, with the sudden surprise quickly garnering the attention of every gamer and streamer alive. It quickly rose to the top of the charts on Steam, YouTube, Twitch, and media outlets all around the world. It was extremely fascinating how an unfinished game gained so much traction and dedication only in a couple of months. It was truly a game changer in terms of early access. However, this wasn't the game that started the early access trend, people. Because you see, PUBG had to have been made by an engine, and since the developers did not make one, they had to rely on someone else. Someone that you all are truly familiar with, Epic Games. Epic Games at first only helped Bluehole, the makers of PUBG, in an effort to expand their support of indie creators using their engine. But after seeing what the Battle Royale genre was doing to the market, they had a bold and genius idea. During PUBG's reign, Epic Games was developing Fortnite, a tower defense survival game where players made forts to hold off endless waves of zombies. After its initial announcement, I'd assume Epic was disappointed with the way Fortnite was received, since not many people were talking about it afterwards. When thinking about what to do, they turned to PUBG and came up with an idea that would see their game as the top dog of the industry. They took the idea of Battle Royale and blended their game's mechanical and visual style with it, making it an instant success. This changed everything. What Epic Games did, shelved Battle Royale games into the mainstream market, which resulted in advertisements, company deals, and millions coming in by the week. This is why you see so many people talking about it all the time, streaming it 24 hours straight, and making their own games out of it. Activision and EA are the primary examples of this, because since they wanted to garner as much attention as possible, what did they do? You guessed it, they stuck to a trend and made their own spin out of it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the history and origin of Battle Royale. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you want more videos like this. Thanks for listening.